Hello everyone, Ariam here, and welcome back to another episode of Wild and Weird. Last week, we talked about a canine named a wolf that is not a wolf at all. And today, we're talking about an animal that looks pretty dog-like, but isn't a canine in the least. This is the spotted hyena. There are 4 types of living hyena species in the world today: the spotted hyena, the brown hyena, the striped hyena, and the aardwolf. But of them all, the spotted hyena is the largest, most gregarious, and most well-known. So what's this about a hyena not being a dog? Well, believe it or not, this animal is actually a feliform. Feliform, or members of the Felidae family, means that hyenas are significantly more closely related to cats than to dogs. Feliforms include animals like cats, but also hyenas, mongooses, and other cat-like animals. Cat-like origins aside, I'm sure that mostly everyone is familiar with the spotted hyena. Various forms of media, especially things like The Lion King, have popularized this animal, but also attached certain stereotypes. This animal is best known for being extremely social, living in clans that could be 60 or more members strong, and also for their vocalizations. They have a laughing call and a very famous whooping call as well. These sounds, popularized with the hyena's tendency to scavenge and steal meals from other hunters, has led them to be seen as sort of mischievous and maybe even evil. But it should be noted that these sounds are just sounds. The laughing is a way to indicate nervousness or tension, and it often indicates that a fight is about to happen, while the whooping call is an attention grabber that may indicate a fight is coming, the clan should regroup, or someone has found food. Speaking of scavenging, hyenas are portrayed as lazy thieves who take kills from other, better hunters. But hyenas are actually better hunters than lions for the vast majority of the time. Lions tend to have a success rate per kill of around 21%, so they fail around 80% of the time. Hyenas range from being successful 30 to 74% of the time. That is a crazy difference. Hyenas actually tend to hunt more than they scavenge, so they have not earned the reputation of evil scavengers that they have. Also, if you're going to go after hyenas for stealing prey from other animals or killing the young of other carnivores, you need to hold everyone to the same standard. Lions, or any carnivore really, will steal from another if they are able to. It's just more energy efficient to steal from someone than to spend the energy to kill something yourself. Also, lions are known to pick on hyenas without any given cause. Male lions especially are known to go around breaking the backs of hyenas that weren't trying to harass them or anything, and just leaving them there to die. Now, of course, this doesn't make lions evil either. By killing hyenas, they are increasing the chances that any cubs that they father will survive to adulthood, but hyenas are pretty much stigmatized to be villains in the natural world, when there are no villains. Everyone's just trying to survive. So you might be thinking, okay, all of these facts are pretty cool, but none of this is particularly weird, other than potentially that hyenas are actually in the Felidae family rather than being canine, despite the fact that they look pretty dog-like. So what makes them weird? Well, first of all, hyena clans are very strongly matriarchal, and matriarchies are relatively uncommon in the animal world. And not only that, but it is a pure matriarchy, meaning that even the lowest ranking female hyena is going to be higher ranking than the highest ranked male. People tend to seem to think that patriarchal animal societies are the violent ones and matriarchal societies are the rare, love-bound, peace-filled ones. And this really isn't the case, especially with hyenas. The girls that end up leading hyena clans tend to be the biggest, the meanest, and the most aggressive. In fact, female hyenas are actually all hyperandrogenized, which basically means that they have way more testosterone than you would anticipate for a female mammal of their size. They're basically having roid rage all the time. This happens because when baby hyena fetuses are in the womb, they're being pumped full of androgens, like testosterone, from their mother that has a lot of testosterone. So there's this insane cycle of very aggressive testosterone-fueled females reproducing and giving birth to even more testosterone-fueled aggressive females. This also leads to the weirdest thing about hyenas. Not to get too graphic, especially since I don't know how YouTube would respond to that sort of information, but let's just say that from an outside visible perspective, the reproductive organs of male and female hyenas are pretty much the same to the naked eye. In fact, female hyenas tend to be more well-endowed than their male counterparts. Like I said, even though YouTube claims that it allows passes for educational information, I know that anatomically correct words for these sort of things could get my video taken down. So let's just say that the anatomy of female spotted hyenas makes it very difficult for them to give birth, and it's actually very dangerous for them to give birth. But on the other hand, it actually makes it pretty much impossible for male hyenas to take advantage of the females and mate with them if the females don't want the male. This means that spotted hyenas are pretty much one of the only animal species on the entire planet where forced mating and forced reproduction are pretty much impossible. If the female decides that she does not want to mate at that time or with that male, then it cannot happen. Because of her strange anatomy, the female hyena needs to be involved and enthusiastic for copulation to occur. This is actually theorized to be one of the reasons that spotted hyenas have such a strong matriarchy. In most other mammal species, and in fact most other species in general, males are able to mate with the females regardless of if the female decides to accept that choice. However, with hyenas, because the female has to be actively involved in that decision to mate, the female has the power over mating processes, mate choice, and when or if she gets pregnant, thus dictating when and how she uses her resources. For females of any species that reproduces through mating, whether they are pregnant and have live young, or they become gravid and lay eggs, and whether or not they care for those young or don't, the idea and concept of growing those young inside of them is extremely taxing from an energy standpoint. And being able to control when and how that energy is taken from them gives these female hyenas all the power. In the animal kingdom, there's essentially one goal: survive long enough to have as many babies as possible so your genetics continue on after you're gone. And whoever holds the cards in how those babies are made has the power. In many species, this is the males, because they are able to mate with the females regardless of how the female feels about that. But with spotted hyenas, it's the opposite, which puts the ladies in charge for a change. There's so much more interesting information about hyena social networks, societies, allyships, and even the lifelong bonds they form within the clan. There's a lot of politics involved. But this video does have to end at some point, so I suggest you look more into spotted hyenas and everything that they actually are, not just what you may have seen in The Lion King. This is the point where I would normally tell you to smile, but I think we need to take some advice from today's wild weirdo. So go out, find something fun, and remember to laugh.